Wawa. If you're from New Jersey or Pennsylvania, you'll know just how important this place is to your daily life. And not only is it a gas station and a convenience store, but it's a place to get pretty good coffee and even pretty good food too on the road. So after polling my Instagram followers as to which convenience store I could limit my ingredient search to, you guys chose Wawa. So this challenge is pretty simple. All I need to do is make a dessert for 5 people using only ingredients from this convenience store / gas station. So one of my favorite things about Wawa is you can actually get fairly ripe bananas there that are ready to eat, and you don't have to let them sit around to ripen up to that super sweet point. So I definitely want to make them a major focus in this dessert. And if you couldn't already tell by the thumbnail, I'm actually going to attempt to make a southern style banana pudding with a crust. Now, I've seen people on the internet using things like Ritz crackers to make a pie crust, even Oreos, and even Nutter Butters. And I couldn't really decide which ones I wanted to use for the whole crust, so I decided, hey, why not do all 3? And now I can already hear the southern banana pudding purists out there screaming through their computers that this isn't a truly southern banana pudding, and I would have to agree, you are correct on that. Because not only does a truly southern style banana pudding not have a crust, but it also has Nilla wafers in it, which I couldn't actually find, so I decided to make this into more of a banana cream pie / banana pudding because of the egg white meringue that's going to go on top. But end of the day, this is my kitchen and there are no rules, and I do what I want. So with that being said, I'm going to start by taking all of the different kinds of crust that I'm going to make, grinding them down into a fine powder, and separating them out, getting them ready to add the butter. And this is where I actually ran into my first issue with this recipe, is the only butter that I could actually find at Wawa was salted butter. But at the end of the day, I mean, these cookies are sweet enough, so I didn't think it would really matter. So here I am just grinding down the Nutter Butters into a fine powder. This is what you would do with any graham cracker crust, except here I'm using Nutter Butters, Oreos, and Ritz crackers. And after grinding everything down, it's time to add the melted butter and start forming this into a pie crust. And I'm not going to have exact amounts written down below just because I kind of just made this up on the fly. And the point of this video isn't to actually show you guys a specific recipe, it's more to show you how creative you can be with limited ingredients and limited time. So here I'm just looking for a consistency that's not too wet, but it's also not too dry and holds its shape fairly well at the bottom of this pie dish. So after adding in the salted butter, I'm going to start forming the 3 different sections of this pie crust. And I just want to make sure it's all fairly level and even throughout. But while we're on the topic, why not comment down below your favorite type of pipes? Mine's apple. And to smooth this all out, I'm going to take a small measuring cup, or just you can use anything that's fairly flat. And I'm just going to stamp it down, make sure it's nice and packed in tightly, as well as there's a nice good bit going up the sides to ensure proper holdage of the banana portion of this. And now I'm just going to throw it into a low oven until it's golden brown or seems like it's fairly cooked throughout. Again, no specific times or temperatures here. But while that's in the oven, I'm going to start with our banana pudding or filling mixture. And at the beginning of this challenge, when I was thinking about what I could make, I knew Wawa sold milk, sugar, and eggs, which screams custard to me, so that's kind of why I fell into this direction to begin with. And if you go online and search up any basic banana pudding or banana cream pie recipe, you'll see they all generally have these same 3 ingredients, but also another ingredient that I actually didn't have that turns out is very important. But I didn't really foresee that at the time, so here I am continuing on to separate the eggs, separating them into their egg yolks and egg whites. We're going to use the egg whites for the meringue later, but these egg yolks are going to be used in the pudding to not only thicken it up, but also add a really nice level of richness to it. And I'm going to add in a banana just because I don't have banana extract, or well, they didn't sell banana extract at Wawa, so why not just add as much banana flavor as possible now before I just chop up bananas and throw them in later. So I'm going to take my egg yolk, sugar, and banana mixture and put it into a large mixing bowl, and I'm now going to set that off to the side while I bring my milk mixture up to a slight boil. And you don't really want it to be like a full boil, just pretty much steaming. Now I'm going to temper my egg yolks here by slowly adding in about a ladle full of hot milk a time while mixing constantly, because again, you don't want to curdle these egg yolks and cook them. You don't want scrambled eggs in your banana cream mixture. And while a lot of people say this process is really difficult, it really isn't. Just be patient with it and you'll definitely get through it. Now here's the other ingredient that I was totally forgetting, and it's actually not cookies, it's a starch, but because these shortbread cookies have a lot of flour in them, I felt like this would be a good starch to use. Now what a starch does in a pudding or a custard mixture is it actually causes it to thicken up much better than just cooking it down would. So after spending about 15-20 minutes trying to cook down this banana custard mixture into a nice thick pudding, I decided to accept defeat and just go out and try to find a shortbread cookie that I can grind down into a nice powder and hopefully use that as a thickening agent. So here I'm actually going to take my spice blender and use that to get it down into as fine of a powder as I possibly can get it. And I actually used the same one as a grinder for the cacao beans in my previous video where I made cocoa. So I'm going to add this about a tablespoon at a time just to hopefully get it to thicken up. And as you can see, once I added it, it really does thicken up really quickly. So I'm going to add this now into another bowl and I'm going to let it chill in the fridge because you don't want to add it too hot, but it also doesn't really matter because you're going to end up baking it anyway. So do what you want. But while this chills, I'm going to make my egg white meringue that's going to go on top of this banana pudding, which makes it somewhat closer to a southern style banana pudding. So I'm just going to use a hand mixer and whip these up into stiff peaks while slowly adding in a bit of sugar. Now I would add in vanilla extract, but they don't sell that at Wawa, so can't use it. Now I'm going to cut up some bananas because this is what's going to go inside of the banana pudding, inside of the banana pudding pie thing that I'm creating. So after I'm done cutting up the rest of the bananas, I'm going to add them to the bottom of the crust, so hopefully giving it a nice texture kind of layering effect. But I don't really know, I've never made this before. So after adding in the banana layer, I'm going to add in the pudding top to it. Now this is really grainy. If you were to use actual cornstarch, it would probably be nice and smooth, but we don't have that kind of luxury today. So after adding that in, I'm going to put it off to the side and cut up our final banana here just to use as a garnish on top of the egg white meringue that I'm going to spread on top here. And you want to spread it on in such a way that there's a lot of good texture to it, because otherwise as you bake it, it's all just going to brown evenly, and you don't really want that. You want to show different browning, different hot spots. It'll just make the final product look much nicer. And with that being said, I'm definitely no food stylist, but I'd say this looks pretty good, especially with only using ingredients from Wawa. And after letting my impatience get to me, I decided to cut into this way too early without letting it cool down long enough, so you're not going to get that real nice slice definition that you would in a normal pie, but either way it tastes amazing anyway. And that was the whole goal of this kind of challenge, is to show you that you don't need to do all your grocery shopping on Amazon to get super specific ingredients that are really special and expensive. You can just make this with whatever you can find at the, I guess, local gas station. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram for future recipes. Thank you so much, and peace.